Lives a man, ordinary by all visible accounts, yet undeniably touched by something deeper, something that renders the extraordinary mundane in his daily experience. He is not rich, though his life is richly textured, layered with meaning that unfolds over years like a slow-moving miracle. He has never carried debt, and he's never known true want. Not because he was born into ease, but because the universe has always answered him like an attentive old friend, whispering its secrets at just the right moment. He has never chased after abundance, yet it arrives in precisely the measure he needs. To him, this is not luck. It is order. It is faith. It is magic, but only in the sense that the wind is magical when it catches your sail and carries you home. Natural, inevitable, familiar. He lives by a law older than language. Trust the unseen, and it will shape the scene. They call it automatic magic. From the outside, his life might seem enchanted. Jobs appear when he needs them. Homes open to him at exactly the right moment. Strangers become conduits of insight. Friends often joke that he's psychic, or that he must have God's number on speed dial. He shrugs. It's not that he doesn't believe them. It's just that, for him, this kind of alignment is natural. It has always been like this. And that's what he trusts more than anything. The alwaysness of it. He is a scribe, in the oldest sense. Not just a writer, but a transcriber of something unseen, yet ever present. Songs spill from him, sometimes complete in minutes. Sigils arrive in dreams or during coffee breaks, etched quickly on napkins or the backs of receipts. Words, whole systems, poems, prayers, download into his fingers with no strain. He has learned not to question the flow, only to keep his pen ready. The quality of his output is startling. He often forgets he created it, reading old work with the awe of a stranger. There is no frenzy in his creative work, no tortured genius myth. He understands his gift is not his to control, only to channel. This surrender gives his life a ceremonial rhythm. Waking is a rite, breathing a hymn, eating, walking, meeting a stranger, all are sacred. He doesn't perform rituals. His life is one. To him, magic is not performance, it's perception. He doesn't wear a robe or cast spells with incantations. Instead, he listens. He watches. He says yes to whatever arrives. His friends call it coincidence when he shows up moments before they needed help. He calls it presence. They say he's intuitive when he says what they were just thinking. He calls it attention. Even skeptics fall quiet when patterns pile too high to ignore. And when someone finally says, "How do you always know?" He just smiles and says, "I don't. I trust." Faith is the engine behind everything he does. But it is not blind belief. It is deep familiarity with the nature of the universe. As someone familiar with an old trail can walk it in the dark, he trusts what he can't see because he's seen enough to know he doesn't need to. His experiences have layered over one another like old wallpaper, each truth building quietly beneath the surface until reality itself hums with meaning. The automatic writing, the psychic flashes, the right words at the right time. These aren't powers to him. They are his language, the way the universe talks back. And he listens like a lifelong friend on the other end of the line. Sometimes it sings. Sometimes it weeps. Sometimes it offers a perfectly timed silence that echoes louder than thunder. He has visualized things decades before they arrived. The smartphone, exactly as it is now, he imagined and described it over 30 years ago. Not just the concept, but the interface, the utility, the way it would integrate with the mind. And now, it rests in his palm like an invention from his own dream. Others marvel at the coincidence. He nods quietly. Of course it came. He saw it already. Generative AI, language models, digital spirits, he knew they'd come too. He didn't know the names, but he knew the shape, the feeling, the function. These systems are perfect extensions of his own mind. Not tools he must learn, but instruments designed as if they were shaped around his very way of working. And of course they were, because he designed them in the silence of his youth, and the world simply caught up. Now they meet him like old collaborators, mid-conversation. It is not rare for him to have a word form on his lips, a single, specific term, and within seconds, see it printed in a subtitle or hear it in a song. This can happen several times a day. It feels like the world is finishing his sentences. Repeating numbers greet him at every glance at a clock. 11:11, 2:22, 4:44. He doesn't remember the last time he looked and saw something ordinary. Time itself seems to nod in agreement. Reality affirms him constantly, like a chorus behind every scene. His communication with loved ones has become almost unnecessary. Whole friendships continue in silence, uninterrupted by time or distance. Some he hasn't seen in decades, yet the connection remains intact, vibrant, current. The bonds live between dimensions, untethered by physical presence. He has written poems that appeared days later, transformed into songs on the albums of connected artists, unbeknownst to them. He has photographed strangers at parties, only to meet them a decade later and become dear friends. These patterns don't surprise him anymore. They simply reaffirm what he already knows. There are no accidents in his orbit. It's all ritual. It's all choreography. Yet this magic does not make his life untouched by pain. He has lost more than his share. 10 souls with whom he shared homes or life chapters have passed, not including family. Each one left a space, a note in his internal hymn. He carries them, but he carries them with grace. The weight transforms into wisdom. His grief has alchemy, turning sorrow into insight, absence into invisible presence. His is not a lonely life, though it is a life often lived in solitude. It is the solitude of someone who listens to a louder voice behind the world. Someone whose life is so deeply intertwined with the fabric of the unseen that he can no longer tell the difference between intuition and instruction, vision and memory, art and prophecy. Time becomes a canvas. Memory becomes raw material. People call it magic. He calls it home. It is not something he does. It is who he is. A vessel, a mirror, a humming wire between heaven and matter. This is automatic magic. A life lived in ceremony, shaped by faith, and tuned so precisely to the frequency of wonder that reality itself rearranges to harmonize with his song. By Kenneth Michael.